Hello, Motorrad World fans. Good afternoon to you on this beautiful, not so great weathery Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? What day is it? I don't even know what day it is. But anyway, we've got a very special surprise for you. We have managed to get him off his dirty motorcycle for once in his life, and we're going to sit him down for a chat. It is Mr. Ross Branch, all the way from Botswana, the factory Yamaha Monster Energy rider, fresh off his Dakar 2021 experience. Ross, how you doing?
Good, and you, Rob. Thanks so much for having me on the show again.
Yeah, all good. Thank you, man. Thanks so much for joining us. I know you're hectic with everything that's going on. Just a little quick catch up. We spoke to you before Dakar 2021. You've signed for Monster Energy Yamaha. Dakar headed over to a different country this year. How was the experience compared to your first time out in Dakar?
It was awesome. It was really, really cool. Saudi Arabia is a really beautiful place to ride in, and there's so many kilometers of nothing, so it's really cool, and open deserts and riverbeds, and there's so much going on. So it was really cool. I learned a lot in the first two Dakars, and this one I tried to put it all together, and it was working out really well for the first week, and then unfortunately we had a bit of bad luck. But all in all, it was a great race.
I mean, you pretty much. So for those of you who don't know, Ross is one of these riders that takes a dirty motorcycle, rides it in dirty parts in some of the most treacherous conditions in the entire world. It's basically, for us road riders, it's like the Isle of Man of the dirt, I would say. I mean, Ross, I watch the Dakar stuff, and you're going over dunes and that. You have no idea what's coming up next, yet you guys are going flat out. Tell us, I mean, how you spoke the last time we spoke, you said how important navigation was. Was that very much again in a country and a place where you don't know what the hell's coming next? How vital is that navigation?
Yeah, I think the whole race, especially this year, the navigation was extremely difficult. They're trying to make the navigation harder, so it slows the speeds down a little bit. Yeah, I think this year was really quick. The top 10, top 15 guys were so fast. So it was, if you wanted to hang on to them and not lose out too much time, you had to take a few risks. So this year was extremely tough, but it was good fun. The navigation was really tough, and it made for an exciting race, not for just us, but I think for everyone in general, made for exciting racing. So it was hard, but it was good fun, and I had a really good time, and I think I navigated okay. I think I could have done a little bit better when we're opening the road with a whole group of us, but that's how it is, and yeah, that's it. When you open the road, it's really difficult because you have to do all the navigation, whereas the guys coming up behind you can follow the track. So it's a little bit more difficult, but all in all, it was good fun.
Now, your first Dakar experience was pretty much as a privateer. You had your orange bike then with you, and you rode. You did very well, rookie, everything. Picked up by the Monster Energy Yamaha team for 2021. How different was it being involved with this proper factory setup? I mean, how did your whole preparation change? You come into the pits and do you have 10 guys with notepads coming around you wanting to know everything? How was it being in that factory team?
It's an incredible feeling, Rob. It's been a lifelong dream, and I think as many athletes, they all want to get onto a factory team as motorsport athletes. So for me, it was incredible. I try to soak it all in. It was intimidating at first because there's so much going on and so many questions, and you have to give so much feedback, which is what I'm not used to. So it was really incredible, and there's definitely another level of professionalism when you get into a team like that. So it was really cool. I think throughout the years of Dakar, the goal has always stayed the same. So I knew what I wanted to do. It was just made a lot easier by obviously not the financial stress of getting to Dakar first of all, and then just making sure you remember all the things that you've learned. So at least there it was just I could go there and just ride a motorcycle the best I possibly could, and that was really important for me. And it was a little bit less stressful, but I had really good pressure as well. There was a lot of pressure from the team, and obviously being a newbie in there, you want to try and get the best results possible for yourself and for the team. So that pressure was a little bit tough, but it was all good. I really, really enjoyed it, and it was a dream come true. Just checking how those guys live. And, you know, it's you look up to those guys on the TV normally, and now you're in the same team as guys like that. And it's like, wow, you know, how do you get used to this? And it's really hard to focus and put your head down and just do what you got to do. But it was amazing. And it's still amazing just being on a factory team.
I was going to say, you were pretty much a lone ranger in last year's Dakar. This year you had this massive team, and it really is a massive team with riders like the likes of Craig Short to lean on. How was it working with the teammates? Did you look at them as complete rivals? Like, you know, did you keep to yourself, or did you lean on their experience? Did you go to Craig and say, you know, he has 100 million South African rands or Botswana dollars? Can I follow you? I mean, how was it working with the teammates?
It was awesome. You know, I was a bit nervous in the beginning because being the newbie and like going in there with not much rally experience. I was a bit nervous, but they're such a nice bunch of guys. You know, all of my teammates are really cool, and everybody offered to help. You know, whether it was mechanics, managers, you know, the team assistant, everybody was just offering to help me, which was incredible. And all the riders get together, and every night we have a little bit of a meeting, and everybody tries to share as much as they possibly can. So I don't think they tell their biggest secrets, but definitely we got a lot. I learned a lot from them, and just in the professionalism way as well. You know, just how they handle themselves after and before the race, and what they do to prepare, and what they do afterwards to relax and you know, recoup and reload for the following day. I got to learn all those things, and you know, for me it's a little bit different. I'm very much a people's person, so I wanted to go and chat to everybody, whereas everyone else just goes straight into the camper and just relaxes and gets ready for tomorrow. So but it was awesome. You know, I learned a lot, and like I said, the teammates are really cool, and they're really there to help and give guidance and all that. So it was really awesome, and I learned a lot from them, and I'm really grateful to have such a great team.
Well, we've got some people joining us here. You've got a lot of support coming from all over the world. Mitchell Boys, Claudia Janssen van Rensburg says, whoop, whoop. Hello, Ross. Well done on your amazing performance. As long as you had lots of fun, navigation and riding a bit hard, but you did your best. Tyson Jobson, hey, Ross, you did so well, mate. Such a great ride. Can you talk about why you think the Yamaha struggled so much this year?
That's a great question. First of all, big thank you for all the support. It's been incredible. Yeah, you know, I think we ran into a bit of bad luck this year. It was you know, like even Yamaha have said that the bikes were pushed 110% the whole rally, and you know, it's not normal for rally to do that. You know, they, like, even the top guys like Toby and them were saying that it's like a motocross race every day for 4 hours in the racing stage. So the bikes were put under a lot of pressure. And, you know, I don't think that it was a manufacturing fault or something wrong with the bike itself. I think it's just a bit of unlucky, you know, because the bikes are getting so hot, so hard, you know, they're being pushed to the absolute limit all day, every day. So, you know, it's bound to happen. You know, we had the whole team that had bike failures, which was the issue, but there was definitely other teams out there that had a lot of issues, and were just lucky enough to get away and just get to the finish line, which is what we were aiming for, you know. So I think it's just, you know, we're just going through a little bit of a bad patch, but I know that Yamaha are working around the clock to get it all sorted out, and I know they've already made some improvements for next year. So I'm looking forward to it. You know, it's just a part of R&D in the development. You know, they've also got to make sure that the bike is fast enough to hang with the other guys. So this year they definitely did that. One of our bikes were one of the fastest out there. So, you know, now we've just got to work on a bit of the reliability side. But, you know, the bikes are strong. The bikes are awesome. They're lighter than everybody else, and they feel really good. So I'm really happy. And, you know, we're all a bit disappointed with the outcome of having those problems. But I think it's just a hurdle in the way. You know, I think we've just got to keep our chins up and keep on working. I know Yamaha, like I say, are working around the clock to get it all sorted out and make sure that doesn't happen to us again. But it is one of those things. It is rally. You know, it's 8,000 kilometers of racing as hard as you possibly can. You know, things are bound to happen.
Oh, that's intense. Take that, Tyson. There's your answer. Owen Bunzaya, Gareth Hope Bailey joins us. Gareth, well done, Ross. You did so well. Joe Ferreira, great effort, Ross. Can't wait to see you go next year. Stephanie Feta, hi, Ross. Can't wait for your 2021 and 2022 journey. Lots of love. Owen Bozo, let's see. Ross, you've got a great heart. I imagine you've learned a lot and going to rock it next year. Vainant Brudrake, I hope I said that right. Bruce Kendall said, how's it? Freddie Cusselman, well done. Kalahari Ferrari, well done, Ross. You make us so proud. Clinton Seller, our 6 million time South African super champion, says, awesome ride, bud. Super tough race and keen to see you win. Justin Fernandez checking in. So we've got a lot of people coming in here. I wanted to touch upon, you pretty much had all the highs and lows of what a Dakar can throw at you. You had a couple of good stages. You were really up in the mix. You seem to start off nice, calm, collected. You know it's not a sprint race. It's more like a long distance race. Then you go and put your head in the sand quite hard, and then you have your bike problems. So just take us through that feeling of, yeah, everything is going to plan, and then how the Dakar can just catch you out like that, and before you know it, you're limping back to the camper, and your that hype of being up there is now come back down to earth, and you've got to reset.
Yeah, it was an incredible rally for me and the team for the first week. It can happen, and we were going so well for the first week, and then we had rest day and we recouped and everything was good, and I was feeling so good for the following day. And then at kilometer 31, I don't actually know what happened. I think I hit a little bit of camel grass, and it was a relatively small crash, but it was just unlucky the angle that we fell off at, and the chain came off. And I think the reason I was so emotional is, for the first time in my life, I realized that, hey, maybe we have a chance of getting on the podium of Dakar, which was incredible, So it broke my heart to watch guys riding by, and I knew I'd thrown the whole race away from a really small crash. And then, I got back on the bike and I thought, okay, cool. Well, we can't give up now. Let's just go for it and see how far we can get. And I put some good time in, and I think I was catching up. I think I was doing some really fast sectors for that day. And then 50 Ks from the end, I had a huge crash and went down again. And, I realized, hey, listen, this is mentally not the right way to be. So I had to slow down a little bit for the last 50 Ks. And we regrouped. I probably chose the worst day of Dakar to crash on and break the bike, because that day was a marathon stage and you got to do all the repairs yourself. And, for me, that was the worst. I mentally, I should have slowed down a lot more and, taken my time on the first day of marathon stage, which is hard. When you're a racer, as you know, you don't want to go slow. So I think I learned a lot from that day to actually slow myself down for next year's marathon stage and just to get to the finish line in one piece and then push again the next day, But being up there with the guys that you've always looked up to, and when you finally believe in yourself that you can get a really good result at Dakar, I think it changes the whole scenery, So I didn't feel I was pushing that hard, but I think I needed to slow down a little bit more, and then just get to the finish in one piece first of all, and be in a position to take advantage of other guys' mistakes. As you saw, I think the second week was the hardest for the riders. A lot of guys crashed out and bikes broke and everything like that. So I would have put myself in a good position if I had held my head a little bit and just got to the finish of the marathon stage in one piece without a problem. But that's rally, and I can't say that I should have or I could have or I would have, but definitely plants a seed for next year to maybe take it a bit easier on the one stage that is probably the most important, and just get to the finish line. So highs and lows, yeah, there was so many highs and so many lows, going from some of the best days in my life where I'm finishing second, and I lost out on the stage win by 13 seconds out of 450 Ks, which was a heartbreak for me, but also really good motivation. And then the other days with the bike breaking and me crashing and throwing it away is on a different level. You can't even explain what goes through your head, and you've got basically the whole of Southern Africa and a lot of people around the world supporting you, and that you go and make a stupid crash at 31 Ks in the stage, you're throwing it away. So it's a weird feeling, but I was just proud to be there and give it my best shot, and I wanted to go there with the intention of showing everybody that I'm worthy enough to go back another year. And I think that's going to be my main focus for the next couple of years in Dakar, if I get that opportunity, is to just show that I can go back and I'm still in the fight. And I think that's the main thing for me. I'm more motivated now than ever to go back next year and give it my best possible shot. And we'll see how it goes.
No, that's awesome to hear, Ross. Yeah, just keep your head up. I can tell you now, I've never been a fan of Dakar. I've never watched it, but this year and last year a little bit, but this year more intensely, I watched it, and I could tell you now you owe me a new TV because I threw my shoe at the TV when I saw you go down and I saw the bad luck. I was so cross. After that, I didn't even finish watching the rest of it. So I think that goes for a lot of people, yeah, because Paul Kruger says, I was crying with you that night when I watched the highlight. So I think you had a lot of people just feeling and having that sympathy with you. You really had so much support. Gareth Dreyer, well done, Ross Branch. You made us all so proud. I think we all know that. And Mitchell Boys is a really good question here. What is the toll it takes on your body, regardless of the crash? Take the crashes out of it. That must be a physical strain of I know riding a motorbike on the road from here 300 Ks to Welkom, and I want to burn that motorbike. I don't know how you do it. 800 Ks with dirt up your nose, your bum. It must be hectic.
Yeah, it's a really good question because not many people ask that, but it's insane what you put your body through, and you lose 10 kilos at a race like that because you don't eat much and you're constantly just working. It's really tough, especially what we don't see back home is the early morning starts. It's 3 o'clock, wake up, 3:30 on the bike, and you ride 400 Ks before you even get to the start of the race, which is what kills you the most. It's -3, -4 degrees in the desert in the morning, and you do your liaison stage of 400 Ks, and then you got to get on the bike and race for 400 Ks, which is really tough. I think that for me is the hardest part to get around is those liaisons. But then, for me personally, the first 3 days are the hardest. Your body gets used to it, and after that, it's pretty much like a blur. This year is definitely the best condition and the best shape I've been in. No injuries, no problems with my body, and everything was good. My nutrition was on form, and everything was really good. So the first 3 days I think is the hardest, but once you get over that hurdle, then I think it gets a bit easier, and that you have to get on and you have to do what you got to do. And just for me, when you're doing those liaisons, it's boring. You can only do 110, 120 Ks an hour, and you got to do that for 400 Ks in the dark and then get on and race your heart out. So it's really tough. And when you get home, nobody recognizes you because you've lost a bit of weight.
And you've changed skin color.
Yeah.
Oh, Ross, listen, I don't know how that sounds fun to you, but it does look like you are enjoying it, and that's the main thing. Owen Boonze has got a couple of questions here for you. Going on the pictures and videos, your chain was properly jammed on the swing arm. How did you manage to pull out that mess?
Yeah, I don't actually know how the chain came off. It was a really weird crash and a freak accident that shouldn't really end up like that. The chain had wound around the front sprocket, so it was a little bit difficult. It was exactly what happened to me last year, and I just thought that the same thing was happening again. And luckily enough, I saw that the chain roller had caught a lot of the chain, so I had to take the chain roller off first and then take the chain guard out. And then once I did that, then the chain came free, and I had to put all the stuff back together. And luckily enough, somebody was watching over me because it didn't ruin the crankcase. Normally when a thing like that happens, it rips the crankcase in half. So I was really lucky. The first thing I checked is to make sure there's no cracks, and I was lucky. But what it did do, and it was a little bit of bad luck on my side, but the chain ripped one of our mapping wires that were going to the engine. So it actually put it in a neutral map where the RPM wouldn't go very high. So it's like putting your car in limp mode. And I had to stop a little bit later and then cut that wire, and then it went back to normal. But that's Dakar for you. It throws everything at you, and you got to be ready for it. But I love every second of it. I can't tell you guys how much I enjoy it. And even when you have really bad days, I just count myself lucky to be a part of a race like that, and giving it my best shot.
No, again, it's good that you got this lots of passion, because I promise you, my bike must break or something. I'll leave it parked right there. I'll put my finger out. Alan also says, Ross, it seemed that the scenario where whoever started the stage landed up way back in the pacing for the day. As a result, guys were deliberately slowing down in order to not start the next stage in first. Was that your strategy?
I can't let out too many secrets. Yeah. No, jokes aside. We had a strategy, but we only had a strategy from the second week. the first week was definitely go as hard as you can every day, because also I think Yamaha also wanted a stage win as well, because it shows that the bike is where it needs to be, and I was definitely going for the stage win on the days that I could. But you are entirely correct that when you started within the first 7, you were going to drop down the leaderboard in a big way. So they haven't seen it like that for many years, where the yo-yo effect is so bad. But sometimes you slow down and it's the wrong day. Ricky made a big mistake by slowing down on the day that he thought he should have slowed down, and he lost a lot of time. So I wasn't quite prepared to take that chance, so early in the races, to try and swap on to a different day. So how they were working it out is that Honda were on one day and then KTM on another day, and a couple of other guys fitted into those days separately, So I think Ricky was trying to get onto Toby's day and make a charge from there. And I didn't really know enough about it to take that kind of risk to slow down. So I didn't slow down at all. The days that we opened and the days that I was in the top 5, I lost a lot of time, unfortunately. But it also showed that I need to go home and work on things. I wasn't too sure where I was missing and what pieces of the puzzle were still missing. So I realized that I need to come home. I need to learn to navigate at just a little bit of a quicker speed. You're not over the top because you're taking too much risk, but so I don't lose so much time. I was hoping to finish in the top 12, top 15 every day, and I dropped out of that a couple of times onto 17th and 20th and stuff like that from being in the top 5. But I think it was good. I think it was something that I realized. Maybe next year we could play the strategy a little bit better, and we can, start a little bit earlier. But like I say, there's a lot of risk in doing that, and you don't know who's going to fall out in the second week. And the old saying is that the second week is the race week, so you need to be up there, in the top 5 to go for the win, and that's what it used to be like. So I was in the perfect position for myself and for the team for the second week. But yeah, we just, it was just unlucky for us, and the other guys, they played their strategy really well, and we got to learn from that. And I think we got a lot of work to do for next year, but we're definitely going in the right direction.
Carl Enslin asks a good question here. What makes the navigation so tricky? Now, you guys don't have like a Garmin or anything plastered on there saying, turn left in 100 meters with this beautiful chick telling you where to go. I mean, how does it work? You guys sit the night before, get your pink and yellow Cokies out, and you're literally writing on this piece of paper that just rotates. I mean, how does the navigation work? And what makes it so tricky?
It's really difficult because, first of all, you're doing such high speeds through there, and you've got to, try and make sure that you can read the road book at the same time. We have a GPS that's always off. All it does is just pick up the waypoints. So you have waypoints at certain times, and you have to make sure you hit those waypoints. So it's like, it's like a computer game. You've got to go pick up all the coins, and the waypoints are hidden. So you don't know where they are. They're just marked in your road book. So when you get to the road book and it says that you've got to look for a waypoint, you've got to look at your GPS. And if the GPS doesn't switch on, you haven't found the waypoint. So it's really difficult, I'll show you here if you guys can see that's a typical road book with a compass heading and a little arrow like that, and the kilometer distance, so it's it's really difficult to try and focus on that and try race and make sure that you don't hit the rocks in the way and look after sand dunes, and it's a lot going on. So if you make a small mistake, this year we had a 10 kilometer section in the dunes just on a cap heading, and if you've ever ridden dunes, there's no ways that you can ride in a straight line. So they'll give you a cap heading and tell you to follow that for 10 Ks. And the waypoint only opens at 200 meters. So you have to be within 200 meters of the next point to validate that waypoint. So if you go 5 or 10 degrees off course at the beginning, you've got a big problem when you get to the end of that 10 kilometers. You'll be way out. And if you miss it, it's like a game. You don't know where the waypoint is, or you don't know where to pick up that coin. It could be the left of you, it could be the right of you, it could be in front of you, it could be behind you. So you start doing big circles, and when you see people on TV doing big circles, they're horribly lost and trying to find those waypoints. It's a really interesting thing to get used to, and it's not. This race is definitely not all about the speed. If you can navigate well and you can follow the waypoints and get them every time without having to turn around, then you can win the rally. Because I think on a daily basis we probably turn around, I don't know, maybe 10 times to try and find waypoints. Or if you go up the wrong ravine, you've got to turn around and go all the way back. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on, and there's a lot of thinking involved. You know, you can't just hang on the gas and follow tracks, because it will catch you out sooner or later. And sometimes you get lucky and you can just do that, but you've got to know how the road book works, and when to look for certain things on the GPS, and take shortcuts, if you want to call it that.
Old Rian Mostert put it perfectly here. Looking at that, I'm already lost. And I completely agree with him. I want to tell you, there's this other form of racing called road racing, where it's a laid track where you know exactly where you're going. You don't need a GPS.
Yeah, but you guys are way too fast on that track.
Please. No, I don't know. Let me tell you, 300 k's an hour on a road track is nothing compared to 100 whatever k's you guys do, stand-up wheelies through dunes and that. So we'll just leave it there. Patrick Proctor asked Ross, will he be hosting the Muddy Face events in Botswana in 2 Block and the Makagagagagagagadi Moonlight events and Mount Adventure? Keep it up, Ross.
First of all, a very happy birthday to Patrick. He's our medic for the whole of Botswana, and yes, we have events throughout the year that I'm a co-owner of, and they're adventure events for the whole family. So you know, we go out there and have a good time 3 times a year in Botswana. So any enthusiasts, please feel free to get hold of me, and I can fill you in with the details.
I've commentated on one of those where you literally drive to the top of a mountain, have no cell phone signal. You like just literally get eaten by mozzies, and you're commentating sun. It's eventful, put it that way. It's one of those, I wouldn't call it a bucket list moment, but it's something I'll never forget. Doing one of those events. So yeah, that was good fun. Adrian Diamond asked here, what was the issue with the Yamaha engines? Were all the failures due to similar issues?
You know, we haven't actually opened the bikes yet. They did a brief inspection on the bikes before they left Saudi. Obviously, the big thing with Dakar is as soon as the race is done, the race finished at 12 o'clock on the Friday, and at 7 o'clock on Friday night, we had to load the bikes and the vans and stuff in the ship to go back to France. So they don't have much time to strip the bikes, and obviously stripping them in the desert is not the best idea. So they had a brief inspection, and they do say that all the faults are different. So none of them are from the same thing. So it's very unlucky. You know, they will have a bit more info for us at the end of the month when the bikes arrive back in France, and they will be doing a press release on exactly what happened to each bike. You know, first of all, the first bike was a little bit of a fuel issue with the organization as well. There was water in the fuel, so it wasn't an engine problem. So the rest of us were engine problems, but they were all different problems. They weren't the same.
Okay, we've got Heiko Duden saying, come practice here in Namibia. We've got more than enough dunes. I'll even give you a spot to sleep. There we go. Low Smith says,
Thank you.
You will have to be really good to get hold of Ross. Low, I paid him 100 Rand cash. That's why we got hold of him.
I love you too, Low.
We got a question here from Jeremy Smith, which is, I think, one that we all want to know. Any chance that one of the other teams might pick you up for 2022? Now, I've heard you say a couple of times, yeah, next year. Is next year guaranteed? Have you signed? Have you got news for us? You can't tell us. What's the deal? And Lowe says he loves you.
Yeah, that's you know, we've been in discussions. We've got nothing formally yet. I'm hoping that I'll be okay for next year. Yeah, so we're waiting to see. You know, my contract officially ends on the 31st of January, so we're just waiting to see what happens from here on out. Things look good. Unfortunately, we don't have a definite answer on that question yet, but as soon as I do know, everybody else will know.
Okay, you'll tie it to one of your planes and fly it over Botswana and then go home again. How tricky was it? It was 2 different Dakars for you last year and this year, 2 different countries, everything. How much more different was this year? How much more demanding was Saudi Arabia? Because like you said, I saw a lot more of the biker guys really take punishment, and motorbikes. I mean, was it a case of just the bikes being on rev limiter for long because of more speeds, or what made it so much more challenging compared to last year?
Yeah, you know, I think there's a big difference. You know, This year, they what they try to do is just to make the race a little bit slower and a bit more technical. So they put a lot of navigation in, and then they made us, the distances were way longer. So it was over 400 Ks most days. So I think it was just all in all, it was, the fatigue coming in, the guys going so fast and trying to race like a motocross race the whole day. I think it all just added up. I think that's why the first week everybody was okay, and then the fatigue started to set in, and then the bikes were taking a hammering as well. So I think all in all, it was just a really tough Dakar. A really long Dakar, and normally we'd be finished by just after lunch, and then this year we started finishing later and later, and some days come in at 4:00 in the afternoon, and it doesn't give you much time to rest and repair yourself, your bike, everything for the next day. So it was really tough this year, and I'm just happy to be in one piece. There was a lot of crashes and a lot of people had injuries, so I think for me the main goal was to come out in one piece, and I think that's what I'm the happiest about this year.
Sure, that's always first prize, eh? Fritz Delman says, hell yes, sign me up for Muddyface. Ross, yo, Aster. Ross, you are hot property on the rally scene, and any team would be lucky to have you. Kello Ari Ferrari. Gareth O'Bailey says, you must shit yourself when one of those trucks in the dunes.
To tell you the truth, I have, to touch wood, in the 3 Dakars I've done, the first one in Peru and the last 2 in Saudi, I haven't had a truck pass me. And I plan to keep it that way. I've seen them come past, and I've seen a car go past another rider before, and I don't want to be that rider that gets passed by those guys, because it's pretty scary. When my bike broke, I got to watch a lot of the guys go past, and I don't want to be in that position.
No, you don't want to be there. Ross, thanks for giving us a local to Shark 4. Can't wait for 2022. Fritz Delman, Ross is too fast for the truckers. Yeah, there we go. You did a lot of preparation for this year's Dakar. You said you need to change a couple of things if and when, hopefully, you do go to next year's one. You touched upon the navigation, and I think that's a big key factor, and those liaisons. Is it a case now, are you going to be changing your preparation? Have you learned a lot to change? Is it more a case, well, I don't need to know how to go flat out. I need to work on navigation. I need to work on, like you said, being a bit more calm and just playing each stage as it comes.
Yeah, definitely. We've already got a plan for this year. My wife and I have sat down and we've made out a plan. Last year, due to the pandemic as well, I wasn't allowed to travel as much. So we only did about 3,500 Ks on the bike. And then this year, we plan on doing between 10 and 12,000. So it's going to be a lot more Ks on the bike and just road books. I think the speed's there. I'm not too worried about that, but the navigation definitely needs to improve. And, luckily enough, we've got the whole of Southern Africa where we can do hundreds of thousands of kilometers just around our part. So I'm looking forward to that. I've already started making road books, and I've been in touch with a couple of guys in Namibia to help me make road books up there. And, Graham Shaw from Zimbabwe is going to make some road books for there. So we're all going to try and work together and make each other some road books. And, then we can learn from each other and do as many kilometers as possible. My fitness was excellent for this race, and everything was there except the navigation. So I think if we can get that done, then we'll be in a better position for next year, and then we'll be able to fight from the front. I think that's a big thing. I don't want to roll over and have to strategize where I need to finish outside the top 15 every day to try and get a good result. I want to try and be at the front. Like one really good navigator is Nacho Conejo. He's really, really good, and he navigated from the front. So I learned a little bit from him. But he said to me that he's done over 10,000 Ks last year just doing navigation stuff. So I think that's the plan for this year, is just to try to get as many road books in as possible and do as much navigation stuff as we can.
Well, good luck to you to do that. Rather you than me. Tata Mosigi says, our pride. Can't wait for 2022. Heiko Dudens, I hope I said that right. Sorry, my accent's terrible. Ross, do you guys ever get enough sleep, or do you keep busy with other stuff? I mean, it's not just a case of you spend 16,000 hours in the saddle, come and say, guys, climb in bed. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff you've got to do. You've got to do the road books. You've got to prep your gear. So is not getting enough sleep a big factor?
I think in Dakar, that's probably the biggest thing. We try getting to such a crazy routine. And my basic day is wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. You got to eat breakfast, get changed, and be ready to go out onto the bike by about 3:45. And then you ride pretty much the whole day. When you get back, you've got to let the mechanics know what's going on with the bike, and you've got to have a bit of a debriefing for about half an hour. So if that's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you're back 3:30. You're eventually able to unkit and then get into the camper and start preparing yourself for the following day. And it's like make sandwiches, because you have to have a sandwich for the road, on the liaison the next morning. Get all your goos and your energy stuff ready, get your camelback ready, and then put your kit out for the next day, because you have to wake up so early. By that time, it's probably like 5 o'clock. You eat as much as you possibly can, as quick as you possibly can. And then you head out, So then it's you go back to sleep, and that's it. You wake up again at 3 o'clock in the morning and start it all over again. So,
jeez, dude, I don't know. Again, I'm going to tell you something. There's this thing called road racing where you ride for half an hour. You don't need sandwiches. You just ride, come in, and sleep. You should give it a go sometime. Gareth, how did you feel about the new tire rule?
I disagree with that tire rule completely. Personally, and I think I speak on behalf of myself and a lot of the other riders that it's unfair and it's dangerous. They think that it was going to slow the race down a little bit, because you'd start conserving your tires, but nobody did that. If you slow down, the next guy's not slowing down. So there was no chance that you could slow down. So for us, we went as hard as we possibly could. I mean, you saw Toby's tire at the marathon stage, and he finished with 4 cable tires holding it together. So he definitely didn't slow down. So yeah, it was, I don't like it. I don't like the rule, but as long as it's the same for everybody, I think it's going to stay like that. And we've just got to learn to live with it. But hopefully we can change that back to, a tire day. I don't mind that rule of a tire day. I think it's fair for everybody, and it's safe. The tires take a big pounding, and, doing those speeds, the moose also tends to collapse on a daily basis. So I think it's just asking for more problems than solving any speed issues.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think, especially from a rider's point of view, in whatever kind of element of motorcycle racing you've done, when you look at the details like that, it just doesn't make sense a lot of the time. I know in a lot of sports, even in superbike racing, a lot of the times guys want to save money, but when you're saving money, you're risking more money by putting the rider and the machinery at risk even more. So you're not actually saving money. So I never understand those things, but we could talk about that for days, actually. Last question here for you, Ross. Adrian says, does this Yamaha factory ride mean you were able to give your day job and concentrate on riding a bit more? I mean, how was it knowing that, you were the solid base that, cool, I'm a factory rider, I don't have to stress too much about punching numbers, I can literally just go ride?
Yeah, for sure. It makes a huge difference. It definitely helps. In the past, I was actually a part-time pilot for Mac Air, so I was able to go and fly. They're very lenient. Both Mac Air and Yamaha are very lenient like that. They've both allowed me to carry on doing what I'm doing. So I haven't really given up. Due to the pandemic, we haven't been flying much lately anyway. So it was a blessing, to get a factory ride and carry on like that. But I could definitely give up, if I had a day job and an office job, I'd definitely give that up to focus on the racing, because there's so much at risk and there's so much on the line. And it's, when you're in a factory team, everybody wants your ride. So it's very easy to get dropped out of that if you drop the ball with your training and your fitness and small things like that, So everybody wants to be in the position that you're in, and it's really easy to drop the ball. So for sure, on that side of things, you need to take it very serious, and it is a day job. But yeah, I don't think I would stop flying. They very luckily let me carry on flying, so I do a couple of hours every month, which is really cool. And I'm very happy with the place I'm in, and very, very lucky.
So you won't ride superbikes, but you'll fly in the air and you'll ride with sandwiches in your backpack for 9 hours a day, flat out. No, I don't understand it.
Those peanut butter sandwiches taste way better after 9 hours in your jacket pocket.
Oh no, with a bit of peanut butter June sandwich. Okay, this is the last question because it's actually a really good question. The video footage that we see on TV and that we just see you going flat out in dunes and that we don't really see any technical stuff. Owen's asking here, are there more technical like rock climb step ups and that aren't shown on TV? So is there more like Roof of Africa type stuff, or is it literally just navigate dunes and between the fast stuff?
Yeah, definitely. There's way more technical stuff than we see. You know, sometimes they show odd pass or something, but this year they try to make it where it was as difficult as possible, and they put a lot of mountain passes in. Obviously, it can't be as technical as a Roof of Africa because trucks and cars both have to go over there. But you do, as a biker, you do know when you see the road book and it says that the trucks are going right and you have to go over the mountain and the trucks are going right around the mountain, you know that there's something interesting coming, you know. And I think they try to stay away from that as with TV cameras, you know, because it does get a bit technical. And I think Dakar itself is showing the, you know, the vastness and the beauty of the country and stuff. So sometimes you do see a couple of the passes, not anything crazy or undoable, like, you know, like you'd think of the Roof of Africa, but there is some technical stuff. And, you know, not only when it comes to mountain passes and stuff, but in the first stage of this year's Dakar, they put us through 35 Ks of rocks where we couldn't go out of first gear. You know, and then you just have a fall over in that, which is the most dangerous part, is just falling over and putting a hole in the petrol tank or breaking a lever off or something. You're already going to lose time. So that's when they talk about technical. That's how they try and make it a bit technical like that. They try and slow it down by throwing in things like that, where it's going to be slowing the riders down, not necessarily over a mountain or around a mountain or anything like that. But this year they also threw a lot of big dunes at us. You know, I must tell you that I got stuck on one and I couldn't make it up. And there's a picture floating around that I was hoping wouldn't make it on social media. But there is a picture of me getting stuck on a dune, and I can quite happily say that I wasn't the only biker to get stuck there. So yeah, they throw everything at you. You know, whatever you can think of, rocks, dunes, mountains, everything. So it's really you know, everything, which is really fun. You know, it's you never know what you're going to get. One day could be you know, so much fun. The next day you could hate it because I don't like the rocks. I'm not particularly good at them. But yeah, I think it's to win that, you've got to be good at everything. So
yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun, Ross. It really does. Not. Ross, thanks so much, man, for taking the time out to talk to us. Everyone down the side here is just, I think we all share the same thing in common. You are one of our heroes. We support you to the death. If anyone from the Factory Monster Energy Yamaha team is watching, just remember or any team, when you sign Ross Branch, you don't just sign Ross, you sign an entire because you get the whole of Africa with you. So we hope you come right. Please keep us up to date with what's happening for 2022. We hope you land a good seat that you can go and attack. And I'm pretty sure from what you've learned from your Dakar experiences so far, I saw the improvements this year already. But like you said, I think it's very easy to get yourself in that position where you're cool. That podium's there, and it just takes that, and it can all go out the window. So I think you're on the right track. We're going to support you to the death, no matter what. So just keep doing what you're doing, and good luck with those 16 million hours of road books and whatever the hell you want to do, and keep eating those peanut butter sandwiches.
Thanks so much, Rob, and thank you to everybody for watching. And I can't thank you guys enough for the support. It really keeps us going. You know, on the bad days when we down and out, or we think we're down and out, all your messages keep us going. So a big thank you to everybody. And yeah, hope we can do well next year and go through this again.
And you must tell that beautiful wife of yours thanks so much for keeping us up to date. Those videos and her posts really just helped so much. And the best men in the world are married to Amy's. That's all I'm going to say.
Without a doubt.
If you're married to an Amy, you've made it in life. Good job, Ross. Good job, my man. Good job. Yeah, dude, thanks again, and we'll definitely catch up with you soon. As soon as we hear any info on that, we'll catch up with you again. But stay safe for now. Good luck. Love to the family. Love to everyone. And yeah, we'll chat to you soon.
Thanks so much, Rob. Thanks so much for having me on the show, and we'll catch up soon.
Thanks, everyone, for joining. Remember to keep up to date with Motor Rider World, our website, YouTube channel. If you didn't catch this full interview, I'll put it up on our YouTube channel and our website. Remember, subscribe to the Digital Mag, 500 Rand for a 12-month subscription. We're going to Mitchell Boy is going to somehow turn this interview into a written out interview that we can publish in the next Digital Mag. So read all about them. Until next time, thanks and stay safe. Cheers, everybody.